Welcome to the Wizards Lab. I'm your programming wizard instructor, Danny Morris, and this video is for both Introduction to Computer Programming class along with the Data Structures and Algorithms classes. This episode is getting started. So, let's get started. Well, all three classes actually, because for Jacksonville College and UT Tyler, we've got different class numbers. 1336 is General Computer Science, also good for the computer science majors, but will work for non-majors as well. 1315 is actually designed for non-computer science majors. That's the one we'll be teaching at University of Texas at Tyler. But I'm going to cover the same material either way. So, welcome to the Wizards Lab, where we're going to take care of these things. Data structures, y'all are special. Y'all are really going to get into it. So part of what we're going to be doing in this class, so first of all, we're going to say that's what we're here about, is getting started. So let's move on. First thing you're going to need to do any programming is a computer. It's hard to do programming on paper. Some teachers may have to do a lot of just write the code on paper. And it's not going to accomplish much. So yes, get you a laptop. So that way you can take it to class, you can take it home, work on it in your dorm room or in the student union building, wherever you feel happiest, finding a good place to crank on the keys. You could use computers that are in the labs, but sometimes they don't install the right software, and you log out, you lose all your work if you didn't store it in the cloud. It becomes a mess. So best idea is let's get you a laptop, get it configured how you want it, everything we need to run, and go from there. But for that, let's make sure we get you the right thing. Number one is you want a laptop that's running either Windows 10 or 11. If you're running one that's still on 7 or 8, that's too old of a laptop. I mean, it's going to die on you any day if that's the case. So let's invest now in something that's going to last you all the way through. So if normally you're going to be looking at 4 years of college. Some of y'all may have taken a bunch of dual credit classes and hope to get out here in 2 or 3 years. And you could wind up like me and actually take 9 years to get your bachelor's. That is not the recommended degree path. But so go ahead and invest in something that's going to get you for a little while. And refurbished computers are just fine if they're like in 2 to 3 years old refurbished. Don't fall for some of these things, and you'll understand my background later when I do that part. Don't get one that's already 10 years old. That means someone else has already gotten rid of it for some reason. 2 to 3 year old refurbished computers, you can find those on Amazon a little cheaper. I would recommend this other place, but I just shut it down. So I had my own IT shop selling these things and taking care of things. So there's things I recommend. Anyway, moving on. You'll get used to having me chase rabbits different times. Second recommendation, getting a laptop, get an i5 processor or better. Once again, we'll start discussing more of what different processors are. There's different levels. You start with that. There's Celerons, which nobody needs. It's like if you want to just twiddle your thumbs all day waiting for something to happen. Yeah, there's that Celeron. And then comes a Pentium. Then comes this different classes. You have this i3 and i5, i7. For you car guys out there, you understand a 4-cylinder engine versus a 6-cylinder engine versus an 8-cylinder engine. That's the best way I explain these things. An i3 is like a 4-cylinder. A little Hyundai going put down the road. It'll eventually get you there, but not very fast. Can't put very many people inside of it. It'll be very uncomfortable. Things like that. An i5 is a good 6-cylinder, something like your minivan. You know, mom crams all the kids in, takes the soccer practice, go to the grocery store, load up the car. It's good for hauling some stuff and good everyday stuff. Get you all take on your trip to California, something like that. I7, more like your 8-cylinder, something like your F350 Super Duty pickup truck. When you got some good heavy hauling to do, you got some hard work to do, you want that 8-cylinder engine to do it for you. Some of the other 8-cylinders you might see is like in your Corvette. Do you want speed? You don't have much with you, but you want to get there fast. That Corvette's going to do it. Now, they do make an i9. That's on up there. With it, that's like your supercar, your Ferrari. But most people don't need it. But if you can afford it, why not? You just go ahead and get that i9. But like I say, what we're doing, i5 or better. i3, you stay away from that, or the Pentium and Celeron. So once again, newer computer, make sure it's running Windows 10 or 11, i5 or better, and we want at least 8 gig of RAM. RAM's going to control how much you can run at one time. The operating system alone, because of the nastiness of Microsoft and just their waste of resources now, they're going to use at least 4 gig just to run the operating system. That's without running any other programs. So let's give it some headroom so we can do some work as we do our programming and running our development environment, all those things. Big no-no is do not get a Chromebook. Chromebooks, that's for doing everything online. And we're not going to be doing online. We're going to be programming. We need to program on your computer. There are some sites where you can type in some Java code. It will compile online, and it kind of runs online. But we're going to be accessing local files and everything through this process that Chromebooks cannot access local files. It's only for cloud-based stuff. We're going to be beyond that. Some of you might be Mac fans. Feel free to do a Mac. There will be some differences as we program. And Java is cross-platform. You write a program here, it runs on everything, except when we start dealing with files, things get a little different. And that's the differences between operating systems is file access and the way in which we do that. And if our camcorder, hello camcorder, focus on me. Okay, it's back, I think. Now, our recommendations. See, this is our minimums, but our recommendations. Go ahead and get you if you're buying a new one, make sure it has Windows 11. Because if it's not, then it is an older computer at least. Let's see, Windows 10 came out. When was that? Probably about 2015, 2016, somewhere around that range. Windows 11 has already been out for about 3 years. They're getting ready for 12 before too long. So you don't want something 2 versions old. So let's go ahead and Windows 11 has all the bugs worked out, or most of the bugs. It has all the latest bugs anyway. So that whatever the latest problems are, it's got them. i7 processor is what I'm going to recommend, especially if you continue on to any other classes past the intro to computer programming. For y'all in data structures, you will really see the advantages of that i7 processor because we are going to tax it. Ask anyone who's had my class in the past. Some things, you put it on to run and you're waiting for results. 20 minutes, 40 minutes for data to come back. And the lower class machines that some of the people had, they were waiting 3 days, or the computers would just reboot halfway through processing their data. Yeah, I said, I'm going to teach you real computer programming for real life applications. And we're going to need something that can run it. And that's where I'm going to recommend that i7 processor. To go with that, at least the 16 gig RAM. I said, if you're already getting this level, it's not much more to do this. If you already have a laptop that's in the i5 or better range, and it does have only 8 gig RAM, or even if you try to save some money and you got one with 4 gig RAM, we can update that. It is easy to upgrade RAM in most laptops. Some manufacturers did very stupid things. But most of them, we can get you from 4 to 8 gig. Some of them we can take to 12 if they solder in some RAM instead of making it changeable. But we have ways around that. So we can get you up to 16 gig in the $30 to $50 range. And so just depending on what we have to do to get you there. So if you've got one, come see me personally and we'll see what we can do to boost you up, how much effort you want to put into that. Okay, so now our next part, the software we're going to need. Luckily our software is all free, so we're going to come in and first we're going to put our Java JDK. This is our Java Development Kit, JDK. And to go with that, we have the Eclipse development environment. So once again, both are free. Yay. So with that, let's go see how we're going to install these things. So I'm going to get out of that over here and bringing up our web browser. Easiest thing is just go to Google or your favorite your favorite search engine. Hopefully it's not Bing. Please don't use Bing. Tell me you don't use Bing. Okay. They all search. They all track who you do. DuckDuckGo supposedly doesn't track, but how do you know? All right. They have to make their money to pay those programmers somewhere. And so we're going to search Google page. Just go ahead and search for Java JDK download. When you get there, you're going to have options of different things. Make sure you're following the one that goes to Oracle. That's the easiest one to make sure you're getting the right thing. Oracle is the company that is our current developer of the whole Java language. So it started off with Sun Microsystems, who made Unix servers and high-end computers back in the 90s. Oracle bought them out and now has the rights to the Java software. So in case you don't want to go and download from the wrong thing and put spyware, malware, and stuff on your computer, so you know you're getting the right thing if you just go ahead to the Oracle website. So when it comes up, you'll see you have all the different versions of Java, older versions and virtual machine ones, and we just make sure we do this JDK 22. That's your latest version. We might as well put the latest on, so we get all the latest bugs. We don't want all the old bugs. And when you look down, right now, when you first come up, you see here you've got Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. Hopefully you're not running Linux. If you're running Linux or Mac, there's going to be differences in some of the little details we have to do in our programming along the way, since we're going to be accessing files. Most stuff is cross-platform. We can write it on the Windows machine and run it on the Mac, or write it on the Mac and run it on the Linux. No problem. That was why Java was developed, and so you can run one program on everything, unless you're accessing files. The file systems are different on the different operating systems. So that's why sometimes you cannot take a file from a Mac and move it to a PC. Sometimes it just won't work. Even the USB drive, sometimes. Some work, some don't. It depends on which way that's filling that day. But make sure you come down here, click on the Windows part, and then we'll see these different options down at the bottom. So we have the x64 compressed archive, the x64 installer, and the x64 MSI installer. They just run different ways. You just go ahead and do the one that's the exe on the end. You see here, see .exe. That means that file, when you download it, it's executable. And it'll install, props up a window, and you go through all the stuff. MSI installer, that's one more the operating system level. It's going to install that way. The zip file you have to uncompress first, and then you'll find the right file in there to run to install it. More trouble. Some people must prefer it, so they put it. But just go ahead and click on this one, and you'll just go ahead and install that someplace. Just remember where you installed, where you downloaded it, where you saved it, and depending on your speed of your download stuff. See, mine says it's got to take about 2 minutes to download. We'll let it eventually get here. Meantime, we can jump over to our second item we need to download, and that is Eclipse. That is going to be our development environment, and you can just type that one straight in. It's not as big and long of a pathway that the Java one was, so you just go eclipse.org/download. Make sure it's plural, downloads. And once you're there, we'll have some different options for you. And let's see. We're getting something funky going on. All right. And scan down. Okay, install your favorite desktop IDE packages. There's one out here. It says download x86_64. Once again, it's that 64. That's our key that we know that we're getting the right thing. The x64. The x86 part is say 32. Well, actually, the 86 is an Intel processor based. AMDs work with that as well, but we're not dealing with Unix servers, things like that. So it's for our processor and the 64-bit part that we will do. So we hit that download button. Okay, if he's being freaky, when you try to click on it and nothing happens, right-click and say Open in New Tab. And that kind of forces it to go do what you want. So now it's loading, it's still thinking about it. Here we go, finally. And it pops up this little guy here. And once again, all downloads, blah, blah, blah. And that's the file we want, so we can just hit download. Not supposed to be a problem. Let's do this again. I think their server is having some issues. Yes, now. We are here. We save it back into our normal part save. And he goes to download. And that's going to take like 2 to 4 minutes. And we'll probably pause here and wait for him to finish. Folks, does pop up another page here as it's actually doing your download. It says, give us some money, sponsor us. No, well, we're not going to do that at this time. Well, you can if you want to, really, but give me some money first, okay? No, just kidding. Remember, any free software, either they have to go and start doing ads so they can pay those starving programmers, or you offer some donations. So after you start making money doing this programming later and use this in a professional environment, you can donate some money to them and then thank them for helping make you all the money. Hey, where Elon Musk got all his money is he actually first developed PayPal. Just sit down, start writing software, create the PayPal stuff. Sold that off to eBay, which I think Google bought eBay, and so all that whole conglomerate, they suck up PayPal, and he makes his billions, and he goes off and now has SpaceX and Tesla and the boring company and all kind of other things that he started doing. But it all started with PayPal. He's a software engineer to start with, so there's hope. And then you can give them 40 euros or something later here for Eclipse. All right, but we're gonna so okay, we're all downloaded now, and so as we go to find that software, first one we need to install, and he's still getting stupid. Okay, there we go. First one we're gonna install. Let's just go ahead and actually view them in the folder. I'm gonna put it on the right screen over here. Hey, look, there it is. So the JDK that we just said, that one was the compressed one I had played with later. I don't want him. Let it go away. And these are actually the same. So the one we're really going to run first is the JDK. We need to install the Java before we can install the development environment to develop in Java, because he's going to have to know where he is to do it. So this is all the background Java language and the Java runtime environment. And so as we double click to run him, we'll get our little window. Welcome to the installation wizard. Blah, blah, blah. We just hit next. Now normally it's going to go to this program files, Java JDK 22, big long name. You have to remember where this is later. At this point, I'd say change. Let's take him instead. Why don't we just move him up to our main level at C? And there's a little button here to create a new folder. We have to create a new folder that we're just going to call Java. Make it nice and simple. And so now let's just get do the C on Java. And we hit next. And it shouldn't take very long. Well, depending on your computer. I am running an i7 here, so hopefully he goes a little faster. And he's successfully installed. Now there's a little part here like next steps, and it takes you to some more documentation, all this part. But really what we're going to do is, for fun, let's go ahead and open up back to our Windows Explorer. Not Internet Explorer, your Windows Explorer, your folders, and things like that. Let's go look and see in the Java folder, and you'll see some different ones on here. It's this bin folder we're going to need. And there's all these different Java things here. And what we're going to need to do, I'm going to click up here. When you click here, it changes it from this PC, local disk, Java, bin, blah, 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 and gets you the actual full path to where we're dealing with. The C:/Java/bin. Hopefully y'all understand that part. If not, we will be getting into what all this part means later in our Intro to Computer Science. You more advanced guys hopefully have it. So we're going to copy that. And with that, hopefully you know the shortcut keys. Control C, you highlight stuff and hit Control C is copy. Control V is paste. And Control X is delete. Or cut. So you cut, paste, copy, all those different things there. And when you highlight it, if you just like doing the mouse button, you right click, and here's your copy and paste. Oh look, see that's what this little Control V, Control C, different options over here are. That means you can do this at any point in time without doing the right click first. And just hit it, hit Control C, copies that pathway into the clipboard. Alright, so now what we really need to do, so I'm going to go up here, do a neural search. Oh, wait, you can't see that from over there. Let's do it. There we go. I can do it on that screen. So if you hit down at the bottom, there we go. There's the little magnifying glass for searching. So you search, edit system environment variables. So you do that, and it will pop up this fast little box. See under the advanced, and you dig down here, and there's a little button here for environment variables. Click on that one, and first thing is your path. The path is going to tell the operating system. When I type in a command for running something in Java, say Java and whatever thing, where in the world can he find that Java command to run? That's the one we just installed. So we went into C, Java, bin, and there it was. So that's what we have to tell the computer now. So if you click on the path part, you see these are all the different places when I type in something on the command line, which we'll learn about later, where's it going to look for these things? And you'll see I've already added one here. That's a C:Java/bin. And the way you do that, that's how you have to delete first. So this is what yours would probably look like. We have other things depending on what you've installed in the past. Right here, we hit New. And remember we did Control C a while ago? That's where you can Control V to paste it. We know exactly where those Java things were because we copied it from up here. And so we paste that in here and we hit OK. Now, another one we need is in the system variables down here. We need to create a new variable called Java Home, Java_Home, all caps. So a lot of times other programs, such as our development environment, it's going to look and say, where in the world do I find Java? Oh, and he looks for a variable called Java Home that's going to store that pathway in it. And so that you just hit New, you type all caps Java_Home, and Control V to paste that value back in there again. And when you hit OK, whoop, it'll have Java Home now as part of your system variables. And when you hit OK and OK again. How do we know this works? Well, let's go down here to your search. Yeah, little magnifying glass. Now, if you're not seeing a magnifying glass, you can click on anywhere on your taskbar at the bottom. Right click on it, and then there will be taskbar settings. Pop that up, and it'll have taskbar items. You have the search right here, and you can add that. You have to hide search icon only, icon and label, or the search box. I like the search box. It's nice. It'll show me the search box. Right? It pops up here. And I can do CMD. That's going to pull up command prompt. So you see command prompt right here. This pulls up a nice little black window with white writing. And this is for you Mac people, it'll be a terminal. For a terminal window that you can pull up. And what you do, you just type Java. And when you hit enter, he should show you a bunch of stuff like this. And it says, okay, when you're running the Java command, there's all these different things you can do. We don't care what it does otherwise. As long as it gives you this, then he is finding that Java program in the right place and running it. Otherwise, if you're typing something else, it doesn't know what in the world you're talking about. You'll get something like, if I try to run a program called Fred, so type in Fred down here and run him. Hey, Fred is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable program, or batch file. So he doesn't know where Fred is. So if you're getting that after typing Java, then you either installed in a different path, or you didn't put it into the environment variables property. We do that part in Java, run, and you should get this much anyway. With that, you've got Java installed. Hey! So now what that means, we've got more work to do. So we can kill that window. Let's go back now to our downloads, wherever it saved the stuff. Whew. Yes, okay. Normally it would go into your hello camera. Focus. Okay, it's back. It would normally go into your downloads folder, like where you have your documents or downloads, all this other stuff. Hopefully not onto OneDrive. Okay. But you're looking for wherever it's saved, and you can go back to your web browser and your download folder of your web browser icon like we did to start with here. And you can see where that's going to be. As you click the folder guy, Eclipse there. No, don't move. That was because I had done a second copy. But I downloaded last night as a test, and so that's the one I'm actually got now. Hey, come on. Where was I? All right. So anyway, whatever it was, it would show you on your latest one. So I deleted a while ago. This is the one we want. When we run him, it'll take a little while. It's got a little window popped up on my other screen right now. Let's installer. Let's move you over here. There we go. This one comes up, and you have lots of different choices for the different versions of Eclipse to install. There's IDE for Java developers, and enterprise Java and web developers, C++ developers, embedded C++ developers, and several other things. Well, guess which one we really want? Yes, number one. You got it. Yay! Give yourself 5 points. Eclipse IDE for Java developers. Enterprise Java gets into more complex things for you're doing something for a big company, and we're going to be putting database stuff into it, integrating with, and all kind of other stuff. You can go into this one later if you want. We don't need it right now. So we're going to go that first one, Eclipse IDE for Java developers, and we're going to do these things. Now, the installation folder, it's like, where in the world do you want to install this? I'm going to put it, I've got a solid state 1 terabyte drive as my second. Yeah, and let's get it from there. I need to create a new folder. New folder. And we're going to call this one Eclipse. I'm going to select that folder. So wherever you want to do the stuff, put it there. Now notice it says the Java 21 plus. To run this, you have to have at least the Java JDK 21. I can go ahead and get the 22. And he found it already. Or did he? Actually, let's go ahead and we click here. It says location. Where are we at? Let's hit the browse. I should see Java. Select that folder. One new VM. All right. That's the one we wanted to use, the guy that we just downloaded. They have now added stuff to where it'll go get its own and put in and stuff like that. But we know we have the right version of Java. And so we put it in. We know where it is. So they're looking just for the JRE runtime environment. But we've got the JDK development kit, which is a higher class. So let's go ahead and use it. Because the other one said, okay, use this one and download. So on this screen, it should have, once again, where we told it to put it. And, well, where to put Java. That's where we said, okay, you go use that version of Java now. The installation folder, so we know where it is. I don't like using defaults usually. I want to know where it is. So install. Wait. Okay, go download other parts that we need and get that going. Let's hover over it. It says collecting 83 artifacts from Eclipse. Fetching all the different stuff here. So downloading. And eventually that will come back. So we'll probably fast forward while we wait on that part. Hey, okay, it's done. Now when it's done, we can launch. Just gonna make sure that that software works. I'll wait. And he's going to pop up this little thing. Select a directory as workspace. It's like, this is where it's going to save all your projects. So what I would do at this point, we're going to do not hit the launch right here because it's going to bury it down. We get out of the way. You'll see where it's going to put it under your folder, where your personal documents are, all this stuff. And if you happen to have OneDrive installed, I mean, it's going to try to put everything in the cloud. And every time you create something, it's going to put it in the cloud. Every time you create a new file, you try to run the file, it's going to pull it down from the cloud. Yeah. This is where I've got a separate area made. And so I go to my certain spot. And for times before, I've had UT Tyler. For my Tyler classes, I go to Jacksonville College. Well, I'm going to be doing a lot of the same stuff, so I'll just make me a new one. You can make a new folder. Once you get to do that, go to whichever drive, just right-click. It's a new folder. Give it whatever name you want. Okay, you do COSC 1315 or 1336 or 2336. If you want to keep all of that class stuff together, do that. Or if you're wanting my programs, that way anything you develop will be in there. And then inside that, you can make separate folders for each class. So all your stuff, any programming you do in the future, will all be in there, sorted. Okay. For me, I'm going to go ahead and use my Wizard Labs one. Select that folder. Now that is going to be the default place where it's going to put all my projects that I do in Eclipse. And with that, then I can launch. Actually, I should have checked that little checkbox. That was going to always use this location. And then it's going to pop up. Little box. Microsoft Windows Defender is active. Oh, so Microsoft wants to block things that, oh, you might program something that might actually mess something up for us. So, no, guess what? I want to exclude Eclipse from being scanned. Unless, that way if you're trying to develop viruses, no, just hopefully not to that, you won't be at that level yet. At least I'm not teaching that part. You might do that in one of your cybersecurity classes or something later, and you don't want Windows Defender to keep you from doing that. All right, so we launch, we get Eclipse, and it's a welcome page you can dismiss, and poof, we have our development environment. What are we going to do in here? Tune in next time, and we'll find out. But as long as you get this working, you're ready for the next one. We'll see you again.